Meet Richard Mabaso, Chief Executive of Imbumba Foundation. Richard grew up in a small village called Lupisi in Mpumalanga.
I think the biggest obstacle for me was living in a village where you knew nothing better. You knew nothing else other than what you see in your village. We just grew up here, go to school, come back home, and nothing else. That was our daily routine. So I think my upbringing or my background as a whole was the biggest obstacle I had to overcome. I got into I was supposed to go to grade 9, but I got to school one day and I was told that I'm promoted. I find myself in Nelspruit town. Then this guy rocks up out of nowhere. You know what? I'm looking for 10 people. There's a job here at ShopRite, at Checkers. Sorry, not at Checkers, at the OK. Because I can't remember what I was even doing in town. Then him and I went to the taxi rank, look for 8 more men. A few minutes later, we rock up. Here we are. They give us a job to do. We do whatever, like changing the layout and then breaking down some of the aisles. And yeah, this is great. I would live here, go to work, and then in the evening, finish work in the morning, 6 o'clock I catch a bus, go to school, and then from there come here, nap for 2 hours, and then go back. The younger brother that you met and my younger sister, the two you met, I put them through school with that money. Because then I took them from the village to a better school, like paying for their transport, paying for their school fees, and I'm glad of who today they've become. In that year, 1999, I failed my matric dismally. I had one opportunity which gave me a moment of reflection. That was my mom. I can still hear her words till today. They echo, I think they will echo in my head forever, because I remember her saying, "My son, go back to school." And that moment for me became an inspiration to say, okay, let me go, let me try again. So I went to school, did well. I remember we went to town. Back then you would have to look for yourself in a newspaper. And then I jumped up. I remember that jump because now it's like, yeah! And then the minute, when you jump, when you come down, it was basically reality kicking in. Where to from here? 2 days later, we had set up a small company. So went to Pinar, Kanyamazan. We started with our teachers to say, guys, guess what? We'll help you do your loans, do whatever. We are now at home full time. We can do this service for you. So I got a call from Bongani Lodge saying, hey, Richard, we've sent someone to come and get you because you're doing a lot of work in the community and we would like you to be given an opportunity to study here at Bongani while you do what you do. Bongani Lodge was giving us something called hospitality management training, where we did everything from maintenance to housekeeping, cleaning toilets, preparing tables, cooking and serving guests. So Bongani, that's where I met people from all over the world. And I think my perspective grew from that to say, surely if these people can travel all the way to come and see us here, we should be also be looking at going to their countries to see what kind of inspiration we can draw from their countries. And then the program was sponsored by Moet and Chandon. And I remember it started in 2001. And then already in 2002, there were 20 of us as students. And I was chosen as their #1 best student. And Moet and Chandon had given me a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to go to Paris and to be hosted by Moet and Chandon at their Champagne Castle. And that was the first time in an aeroplane, because the following year, then Moet and Chandon and a lady from Express Employment Professionals in Canada, they then decided I must go and spend 6 weeks in Canada at a college called Fanshawe College. Came back to Bongani after Canada, after everything. I remember it was towards the end of March, and then someone leaves a message for me to say that we are, please tell Richard that I got him a job, he will earn 5,000 rand. My superhero, it has to be my mom, my very own mom. 9 kids, same father, same mother, and she had to wear many hats because at some point she had to become a father and she had to become a mother. She had to become a domestic worker. She did everything she could to just make sure that we have food on the table. So my background made me to hate poverty because I know how it is to be poor. It made me to hate hunger because I know how it feels to go bed to sleep without food. So, but that very same thing didn't break me down. It made me to say that I want to be a better person because I want, for as long as I can, I want to make sure that more young people don't have to go through what I went through. In 2004, when I got my first job, one of the biggest things was that I wanted her to stop working. And I remember driving my little car, going to White River to fetch my mom, to bring her home and said, this was the last day ever you went to work, because for the rest of your life in this planet, I want you to enjoy the fruits of your hard labor for all these years.
This is how legends are made.
I remember it was in 2010 when I decided to start Mbumba. So the one question I always had, I'm like asking myself, what is it that I'm going to do differently? For Mbumba, for me, it's about always making that one person feel that they are special and feel that they can make a better life of themselves.
Richard started the Caring for Girls program inspired by a hushed conversation he overheard between his mom and his niece discussing her first menstrual cycle. Richard would like to be the uncle who can provide his niece with sanitary pads without shame.
The reality from that day, two things happened. One, my niece didn't know what was happening in her body. Number two, she didn't have a pack of sanitary pads. And the mere fact that she had an opportunity to be assisted, but she was not allowed to be assisted because of the stereotype in our society, it's exactly what inspired me to say, surely something must be done. I got a lot of pushback from society because I remember going to corporates asking for donations, but always the question is, why do you want pads? Because you're a man. And then I came up with an idea of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. And I mean, out of a million things I could have chosen, I don't know why I chose Kilimanjaro. That day made me decide that I will call the Nelson Mandela Foundation, get them to endorse this cause so we can summit on Mandela Day, which then to them it was going to be part of their mantra or embody their mantra, which says inspire change, take action, make every day a Mandela Day.
To date, Richard has accumulated a list of honorable achievements, including building a preschool for the children of Lupisi, assisting local farmers with self-sustainability, and building 3 homes to house his family. Among this list of accolades is the success of the Mbumba Foundation and its endless collection of initiatives, which include Caring for Girls, Trek for Mandela, and countless other social solutions.
I think Richard is an icon for us. It's the way he treats other people. Mainly, most of the people we have seen empowering would be, young ladies and some boys as well.
Most of people they are scared to speak about something that affects women, but Richard stood up and did this such program that needs the sanitary towels, of which we when we were grown up we didn't told about this post because it's something that is scary to speak about.
When you come across him, it is as if you have known him for the longest time in your life. He has that type of passion for people. He has this thing for listening and experiencing what you're going through as an individual, as a person and whatnot. And I think that is what made him the person that he is today, that soft touch for people.
What you can say to the youth of today is that they must focus on their studies. She didn't get an opportunity to go to school, and she don't wish anyone, especially to the youth of today, not to get the education, because now the education is free. So they must just take that opportunity, focus to their studies, and also graduate and get employed and come back to plow back to the community as his son did. Yes.
After that distribution, he doesn't just give them the sanitary pads and stuff. He's gonna call them and have those separate conversation on how to empower them and teach them on how to be independent in life. He came to me and said, "No, man, you need to focus, number one, and number two, you have to be disciplined." Richard taught me to be positive.
So as a man, I actually find him to be very inspiring. I think it was very big of him to focus on, menstrual health and menstrual hygiene, because we know that there's a lot of misconceptions associated with it. So I think that he's actually pioneering something that, all men should be comfortable with.
I think it was just his sincerity, his compassion for others. He never has a hard word to say. No matter how badly he's treated by somebody, he would always still remain compassionate, and he would always try his best. Never ever did he use his circumstances as an excuse for not wanting more or not wanting better, and never ever did he expect that somebody else would give it to him. He's always worked for it. He's always got grand plans. He's always busy thinking of the next thing.
To become a hero doesn't mean that every day will be great, but some days will be tougher, some days will be exciting, some days will be normal. Whenever there's an opportunity to make a difference, regardless of how small, you need to do that and make it happen.
We can be heroes everywhere we go. We can have all that we ever want. Swinging like Ali, rocking our bodies, standing on top like a champion. Keep your heart silver, give me that gold. You'll remember when I say we can be heroes everywhere we go. Keeping us down is impossible, 'cause we're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. We're unstoppable. Every spotlight, every soundbite, everybody who gave up is just a fuel for